Josh Moser, Mike DePasquale, Donovan Campbell, and Drew Rosenhaus.
Hi, everybody. The Heat locking up guard Tyler Hero long-term. Miami signing the reigning sixth man of the year to a 4-year, $130 million contract extension. Hero putting this on Twitter. Bugs Bunny counting that stack. Welcome inside our Channel 7 studios. This is Lexus Sports Extra. I'm Josh Moser. Congrats to Tyler. However, we start with Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. Tua suffering 2 head injuries in less than a week. The neurologist that cleared him to return to gameplay against the Bills in Week 3 has since been fired, leaving the NFL to evaluate its concussion protocol. Here's the play in question. Second quarter against the Bills, linebacker Matt Milano pushes Tua to the ground, then he gets up. Clearly looks like he has no idea where he is. Tua then stumbles, falls to the ground before having to be held up by his teammates. Despite all of this visual evidence, Tua was immediately cleared to play by the doctor.
I have 100% conviction in our process with regarding our players. This is a player-friendly organization that, I make it very clear from the onset. My job as a coach is here for the players. I take that very serious, and no one else in the building strays from that.
Extra points.
For more on this, we welcome in Drew Rosenhaus via Skype. Drew, who is most to blame for Tua's current condition?
Who is most to blame? That's a very good question. And you know what? I think everything about the process is to blame. I think everyone has to take responsibility, including Tua. Ultimately, he should not have played on Thursday night. It was evident that he suffered some type of brain injury against the Bills. That was obvious. You can point fingers at whoever you want, but ultimately, everybody's got to be responsible. I'm happy the NFL and the NFLPA are changing the protocol. When a guy gets knocked silly, the way that Tua was, and is stumbling, whether you want to call it a concussion, a back injury, a head injury, he should be out of the game.
Drew, how much do the current players trust the system that is in place, including these concussion protocols?
I don't think that I can speak for the entire body of players, but I've always emphasized caution with my clients. I've had a rule of thumb. If you get knocked out, if you lose your consciousness or you're dazed or you're dizzy, you just not play the rest of the game and then take all the exams and sit out the following week to play it safe. I've had great clients whose careers ended because of concussions. I wouldn't want to see that happen to Tua or any other player.
Right. I mean, we know this happens in the game, and we know the players want to get back out on the field. Drew, my question is, how incumbent is it on the players to give accurate information about how they're feeling?
Yeah. I mean, the player can, I guess he can BS his way through it. He could say he feels fine, and I don't know enough about the medical elements to challenge that, but if you obviously see a guy who gets knocked silly and is stumbling and falls down like Tua did, to me that's enough where he shouldn't be allowed to play the rest of the game and should be held out on a short week. That's a judgment call. I'm not being critical of anyone in particular except the system, and the system is changing for the better.
If Tua's out the rest of the year with Teddy at quarterback, does this team still make the playoffs?
I think they do, because the defense is great. McDaniel's a very smart coach, and I'm confident that they can manufacture ways to allow Teddy to get the ball to the playmakers. If he just executes and gets the ball to guys like Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, this team can make the playoffs with their outstanding defense.
Some of the best insight in the NFL. Drew, we appreciate the time as always. We're bringing you back later in the show. Hang with us for a couple more minutes, please.
You got it.
Time now for SoFlo Pros.
There is so much NFL talent born and bred right here in South Florida. In fact, our area producing more pro football players than any other part of the country. We start in Baltimore. Ravens Bills, SoFlo Pro Lamar Jackson to J.K. Dobbins on the shuffle pass. Ravens up early. However, Bills on the comeback. Josh Allen, a former Heritage star. Isaiah McKenzie. Fortunately, McKenzie would leave the game with a concussion. Buffalo rallies from 17 points down to win 23-20. To Detroit, Lions hosting the Seahawks. Seattle in the red zone, former Miramar star Geno Smith doing it all by himself. QB keeper for the score. 3 touchdowns for him. Seahawks win the NFL's first ever 48-45 game. In Indy, Colts Titans, Matt Ryan back to pass. Tier Tart on the INT. Shout out FIU football. Titans go on to win 24-17. Steelers, Jets in Pittsburgh. The trickeration by the Jets. Call it the New York version of the Philly special. Former Kane Braxton Berrios to Zach Wilson. Jets 24-20 to Charlotte. Cardinals, Panthers, call me Hollywood, Florida Brown. The pride of South Broward High helping Arizona win 26-16. That is the Week 4 Sunday edition of SoFlo Pro.